Good morning students, welcome to the virtual classrooms. In our previous lecture, we were discussing about the conductance in the electrolytic solutions. Today, in this lecture, we will study about the molar conductance and the application of it by using Colruy's law. How to calculate the molar conductance in any given solutions. So for that case, the first of all, the word we want to understand, molar conductance. Now, it's given out with a symbol. The symbol which is indicated over here, it's capital lambda. Generally we write the lambda in this format, but this is a capital lambda, right? A Greek letter, capital lambda. It's indicated as this. Now, this is the molar conductance. Now, molar conductance for any given solution, when we are using the word molar, that means it's for 1 mole of the substance. So, it depends upon K into V, where V is a volume of solution containing 1 mole of solute, that is electrolyte. 1 mole of solute, electrolyte in a given solution. But when we are talking about the volume is 1 mole of in a electrolyte. If I go it for concentration in terms of molarity, molarity means we write it as moles per liter of the solute, volume, right? So if I take it as a volume, this is measured in the terms of liters. So if we take it as a volume, it becomes as moles per concentration, right? That is in the terms of molarity. So if I want to convert it, can we write it as V is equals to 1000 by concentration. The V we will be getting it is a 1000 by concentration of the solution. So as a result, the unit we will be getting it as molar conductivity equals to K 1000 by C, where C is in the terms of molarity. C we will be taking it in the terms of molarity. So Vm is equals to K into 1000 by C. We just converted this value, right? Now moles, we took it as 1000 because it's a moles per liter, and 1 liter, that is equals to 1000 ml, right? And we are taking these terms in the terms of centimeter, or you can write it as centimeter cube. That's the reason why we take this unit as molar conductivity equals to 1000 K by C. This is one of the important numerical formula for the numericals. That is your first formula. The second formula we will be having it. That is the most important for us, Colruy's law. Now what is this law? The conductivity when we are measuring it for any given substance, then the conductivity of the solution is equals to the sum of conductivity of all the ions present in the solution. The law says that conductivity of any solution is equal to the sum of conductivity of all the ions present in the solution. What does this mean? If I want to calculate the molar conductivity, now this is in the solutions, so molar conductivity, I want to calculate it for, suppose NaCl, then it will become as conductivity of Na plus Cl minus, sum of conductivity of ions present in it. Now it was containing 1 Na plus and 1 Cl minus, but if I want to calculate it as a molar conductivity of MgCl2, then what will happen? It will give me as a molar conductivity of Mg plus 2 into molar conductivity of Cl minus. because we are having 2 Cl minus ions present in it. So in general we write it as molar conductivity is equals to number of positive ions into conductivity of positive ions plus negative ions into conductivity of negative ions. This V plus indicates number of positive ions in the solution. V minus indicates number of negative ions in the solution. Lambda plus indicates conductance of positive ion and minus indicates conductance of negative ions, right? So we get it as conductivity to be calculated, but this factor, it's applicable only for strong electrolytes. This thing you can apply it for strong electrolytes. This cannot be applied for the weak electrolytes because weak electrolyte does not produce all the ions in the solution. It establishes an equilibrium. If the solution is diluted, number of ions increases. Because of the weak electrolyte, one which did not dissociate, they dissociate, so number of ions increases. So in the solution, the conductivity will change. But in the case of strong electrolyte, when the electrolytes are added, they get completely dissociated. So right from the first, they are completely ionized. So conductivity varies. So how to calculate the variations in the conductivity for the strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte? So for that case, in the case it was told it by the Colrose that whenever you are having it as in for the strong electrolyte or for the weak electrolyte, it depends upon the concentration and the conductivity. For strong electrolyte, we get it as a straight line graph. That means we can calculate its absolute value. But when you are having it as a weak electrolyte, this one is for strong electrolyte. If we say it there for weak electrolyte, we get the graph initially increasing and then it becomes constant. This is for weak electrolyte, this one, and this one is indicating for the strong electrolyte. That means the absolute value for the strong electrolyte can be calculated, whereas for the weak electrolyte it cannot be. So for this case we can say that for strong electrolyte, on dilution, there will not be much change in conductance because already it is completely ionized. So number of ions whatever are being produced, they are already there. So there won't be any more change or large change in the conductance. But for the weak electrolyte, on dilution, the number of ions increases. As a result, conductance in the solution increases. So on dilution, conductance increases in a weak electrolyte. Now, for the strong electrolyte, we were able to calculate the absolute value, but for the weak electrolyte, we cannot. For strong electrolyte, we calculate it as molar conductance is equals to number of ions into conductance of the positive ion plus number of ions into conductance of negative ions. But now for the weak electrolytes, there was a question mark. How to calculate for the weak electrolytes, the molar conductance of the weak electrolytes? So for that case, we got it as an application by the help of Colrose law, where Colrose law indicated that sum of the conductivity of all the ions, that is the one law for the strong electrolyte, for the weak electrolyte. He told that whenever the conductivity of any ion in any given solution is measured, the conductivity remains of that ion to be same, right? What does it mean? The statement indicates that if I am taking it as a conductivity of NaCl, that means I am going to get it as conductivity of Na plus Cl minus, right? If I take it as a conductivity of NaBr, I will get it as Na plus Br minus, right? So what does it shows? That we have taken it as a conductivity of NaCl and NaBr. The ions are common in Na plus, the conductivity of Na plus and in both the solutions is same. The conductivity of Na plus in NaCl is equals to conductivity of Na plus in NaBr. It's not necessary that the conductivity of only positive ions are identical. You can see, you can also measure it. NaCl, we get it as Na plus Cl minus. If we take it for KCl, we get it as K plus Cl minus. Here also, conductivity of Cl minus in NaCl is equals to conductivity of Cl minus in KCl. That means for both positive ions or negative ions, conductivity is remaining same whether it is taken from any given solution. From whichever the solution you are taking the ions, its conductivity remains same. So Colrose used it, the conductivity rule, for measuring the weak electrolyte. So for weak electrolyte, the conductivity like CH3COOH, if I want to measure it, the molar conductivity of CH3COOH, what will I do? It is conductivity of CH3COONA, conductivity of HCl, conductivity of NaCl. Now I know it that salts, water soluble salts, they are having it as an completely soluble, they are strong electrolytes. HCl, it's a strong acid, it's also getting completely dissociated in the solution, right? So we will be getting it as an conductivity of CH3COO minus, conductivity of Na plus for the given solution. For this solution, we will get it as conductivity of H plus, conductivity of Cl minus. For this given solution, we will get it as minus sign is there for it, conductivity of Na plus, conductivity of Cl minus. Now, if I elaborate it, we are going to get it as CH3COO minus, Na plus, H plus, Cl minus, minus Na plus, minus Cl minus. So these terms are cancelled out. Left out is CH3COO minus H plus. So by using the value of conductivity of the strong electrolytes, we can calculate the conductivity of weak electrolyte. That is the application of Colrose law for weak electrolyte. Another example, let's check how to calculate for the weak electrolyte. Whichever the weak electrolytes are there, we can calculate the value for it by using the conductivity of strong electrolytes. Let's check one more. We are having it as, and suppose calculate the conductivity of H2O. Now water means we know that we will be having it as an H plus OH minus. So can I say that HCl is a strong electrolyte, NaOH is a strong electrolyte, but additional to it I used was NaCl, which is also a strong electrolyte. So we will get it as H plus Cl minus, Na plus, OH minus, minus Na plus, minus Cl minus. So these terms are cancelled. So we get it as H plus plus OH minus. So if we know the conductivity of HCl, NaOH or NaCl, we can calculate the molar conductivity of weak electrolyte like water also, right? This is one of the example that we got it. We will be also having a numericals based on it. The values of the molar conductivity of the strong electrolyte are given to you, which has to be added, which has to be subtracted, where to be divided, where to be multiplied. That factor, by applying it, you will get the answer of the weak electrolytes. So this will be one of its application for us, right? Okay, at the same time, because these are the weak electrolytes, the dissociation does not take place completely. So how to calculate? Calculation for degree of dissociation, that is alpha. For it, what is the formula that we will be having it? If I want to calculate how much amount of the ions has been dissociated, then for it we get it as degree of dissociation is equals to molar upon standard molar. Now this indicates calculated molar conductivity. This is standard molar conductance. So molar upon standard molar, we get it as degree of dissociation. And the another calculation of equilibrium constant, that means we get it as K. We know it, K is equals to C alpha square upon 1 minus alpha. That's the formula. But we calculated alpha. So K is equals to C molar upon standard molar whole square upon 1 minus molar upon standard molar. Now if we open the brackets, we get it as molar upon standard molar square. Open this bracket, we get it as molar minus standard molar upon standard molar goes into a multiplication. This term is cancelled out, so we get it as molar square upon standard molar into standard molar minus molar, that is equals to K. These are the formulas that we will be going through for the numericals, right? Okay, so based on these formulas, we will be having it as a certain numericals to be done on it. We will take it in our next lecture related to the numericals. We will solve some few numericals, as well as at the same time you will also have our textbook. Number of numericals are there, make a practice of it, right? We will first of all do it in our next lecture, certain numericals. Before that, just go through all these formulas and recall it or remember all the formulas. Thank you.